Welcome to Renewed. Thank you for tuning in. Renewed is a great streaming show where I, along with some other comics, will be workshopping some jokes. So we're going to get right into that, and we're going to bring our guest today. I'm doing it a little different. Typically, I usually do this show with one other comic or maybe two other comics, but I'm doing a roundtable version, changing the format a little bit. So we're going to bring out our comics. So here, please let's welcome David Harris, Ben Marcotte, and Jenni Lou Russi. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Wow.
Good.
Are you in your attic?
I am. My attic is also my studio.
Nice.
You guys have all got nice backgrounds going on. You're your neutral colored walls and whatnot. And I'm like, no, I want all chaos going on behind me.
That's okay. I'll have as much chaos without it. So.
Well, there we go. I'm full of chaos. Life. Chaos makes life so much better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Spoken like a true psychopath.
Well, this has been fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. And that's the show. We're out of here. Oh, that's funny. I don't know who. For some reason, the StreamYard, you can't see who is commenting in the Facebook group. So if somebody comments on a page or through, Twitch or YouTube, you can see their name, but Facebook groups, you can't. So I don't know who made this comment, but it's somebody through a group, but apparently you have Canada for a backdrop. I don't know what that means. But
I don't know either. I'm in Greg's man cave.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I can't tell how you could get Canada. Oh, maybe it's because you're in North Dakota and they're like, you're so close to the border. I guess we are too in Minnesota. I don't know. I got nothing. I don't know. That comment did not make sense.
I thought about now I want to put a Canadian flag behind me just for the future.
Just so people assume that.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, you're from Canada? I'll be like, no, why do you think that?
That seems like a guy who's not in Canada, but trying to
it's like, how dare you make them accusations? All right. Well, the point of this show is that we workshop jokes. So that means you guys will have some jokes you want to work out, and I'm just kind of more of the moderator. I might throw something out there, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make this easy. And I'm just gonna start with David, who apparently I'm assuming it's him that has the alerts going off.
First of all, how dare you? I did not have any alerts.
That's me.
Oh,
I'm
look at that!
shut up.
I was wrong.
Yeah,
and that's the end of the show.
You are fired as moderator now. Thank you.
I'm a terrible moderator.
No, I have alerts going off, but they're happening up here.
I should actually, before we get into that, I should let everybody go around and introduce themselves and tell everybody a little bit about themselves. So that's what we'll start with. We'll start with you, David. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, my name is David. I'm single. Please call me, male or female at this point. Just give me a call. Or what is this, a dating show? What's happening?
It can be. Who knows? I mean,
I honestly,
things have happened.
I have this camera. It's supposed to be like slick Logitech camera. I bought it extra for my laptop, and now it makes me look blurry, and you guys think you're drunk. And so I don't know what's happening. But anyway, I'm from Minneapolis. I'm here doing a lot of drugs today.
Oh, excellent.
Thank you. Was I supposed to say anything else? No, I didn't know.
I was waiting for Ben to introduce himself. He was just like,
yeah, come on, Ben, pull it together.
I leave you out there. My name is Ben. This is a great start. This is a hot start. Don't know how the show works.
Neither do I. Don't worry. And it's my show.
Yeah, this would be like if someone was on Letterman and they just walked out the back door. Right?
Yeah.
I'm in the alley now.
I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, yeah. Ben. My name's Ben. I'm a comedian from Minneapolis.
All right. Yeah, we'll clap it up.
Meeting Ben.
Yes.
And then Jenny, go ahead and introduce yourself. Uh-oh, did she freeze up?
She's nervous.
Is she on a delay?
Yeah, she's in
Me?
Canada. Do you not remember?
Oh yeah, I said go ahead and
Time zone. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm Jenni Lou Russi, and I'm in North Dakota, and I think I have a poor connection. Because you keep now I'm stuttering, so it sounds like I'm, yeah, but yeah. So I'm in North Dakota, and I'm teaching virtually now for the next whenever.
Oh,
So
how's that? How's teaching virtually? Is it going like this comedy show?
It really is, because every once in a while the students will say, they'll freeze up or I freeze up. I think my laptop or my internet connection is just tired from the day. And then my dog will bark.
I love it. Oh, welcome to the future. This is where we're at. And we just got to cope with it. All right, now that everybody's been introduced, and look at that dog making a cameo, and then he's out. He's like, I'm out. Saw the camera. So we'll go ahead and get started with the show. So I'm going to pass it over to you, David. You can go ahead and do whatever you're working on, the first thing you want to do. So we can either do this in chunks where we just go down and you work on, talk about everything you're working on, and we do each person like that, or we can rotate where you do like one joke or bit at a time.
I say we rotate. I don't like the pressure of doing it all.
That's fair. Yeah, I like the rotation too. All right. So we're going to rotate it. So go ahead and with your first one.
All right. Let's start with Ben. No. Let's see. So this is the bit I'm trying to. This is one of my first memories. I stole a pack of gum from the grocery store when I was 5 years old, and my mom made me take it back. And which is fine, but the cashier lady was like, if you do that again, we're going to call the police. Like, that's a lot for a 5-year-old to take in, And so now every time I go anywhere and I misbehave at all, slightly, I'm afraid people are going to call the police. Like, oh, David, you dumped that girl. We're calling the authorities. Or David, you got mad at customer service once. We are calling the police. So that's kind of a bit that I'm kind of working on, but it's just an idea right now.
I like that. I like that premise of being afraid of getting in trouble for other things, getting arrested for other things.
Yeah. Just getting arrested for nonsense, like, oh, I picked up the wrong orange. Police.
If you got arrested for those things, what would happen?
I feel like that's a good way that's a good place to go with it. That's a really good idea.
They're not crimes.
Right.
That's what
yeah, that's a funny extension for sure. That's a great idea. You should work with me more often, Ben. Wait, they're not crimes? Oh man, this is something I'm learning now. This is crazy. But that's a great place to go. Like, if I got arrested for dumping a girl, they would be like, okay, so we see on the docket at the courthouse that you've dumped. You can go. You can go. But still, the anxiety is there, on something.
Right. But it could be funny too to be like, wait a minute, this can't be right. You dumped a girl? Like where you're
that hit a little too close to home there, Dan. Yeah, it's not all have to be real.
What I think might be funny is the idea that your mom took you back to the store. So who's going to take you back to the girlfriend, or to the girlfriend's mother, or the girlfriend's roommate?
Maybe the girlfriend. She's like, listen, David dumped me, and they just start going. They just start laughing. That's a great idea too. You guys, you know what, Dan? We don't need you. I just got these guys. I'm going to take these guys. I'm going to go home, and then they're going to write my act. No. Those are both great ideas. Guys, I'm turning this into a new show. It's called I Come Up with the Premise, and you guys come up with the punchline.
You guys write my jokes.
Yeah.
What the hell was that? The dog had to get in there.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. He's like, hey, take some of my suggestions.
Those are great ideas, though. I like that. Do you think that, be honest, do you think that they're like, oh, you dumped that girl, we're calling the police? Do you think that that's a punch, or do you think I need to take it to the second part, Ben, where they're like, what would happen in actuality?
I think it would go good together, because I like the idea of, oh, you dumped that girl, we got to call the police. And then you can go into the consequences.
Yeah, I could even be like, what? No. I could have a reaction to that first, and then the second part that Ben mentioned. And then the third part that Jenny mentioned, I like too, as an idea of like, you were saying like, who would take me to the police? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Or maybe they would, or they would be like, yeah, this is for emergencies only, or whatever, hang up,
Well, that's actually the start of Karen. I don't know if you want to go there or not, but that's like, all moms are Karens, that's a Karen that takes you back to the store with a gun.
Apparently your dog is offended by you.
Are you saying my mom was Karen because she took me back to the store?
I have done that. I was a nanny. I was a nanny for a little boy who did that. He stole we went to the hardware store and he stole a screwdriver. And when I put him in the car seat, I saw the screwdriver. So I took him back in and I said, hey, Jacob stole a screwdriver. I'm really sorry. Here you go. And I made Jacob say, I'm sorry. And we went, and then we get back out there and he had a flashlight.
He didn't learn his lesson at all.
And I was like, oh my stars, he keeps upping it. We're going to come out with a power drill if I take him back in.
Yeah, I think there's something like this. I've kind of condensed the story, of course, for the bit, but the reality is there's still misremembering between my mom and me as far as what happened actually, like whether or not we were at the store when it happened or whether or not she was I had gotten home and then we had to go back. But either way, I think being at the store, I could be like, yeah, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to take it. You can have it back. And here's a whistle. Like, something else that I would have be like, here's my jacket. Do you want that? Just because I'm nervous about what happened now that she's yelling at me,
Yeah, I like that too. The idea of like you're trying to like pay it back, but with interest to save your eye.
Actually, that's not all the gum. Whatever. I'll have to play with it, but those are great ideas. Thank you.
Really funny too. All right, well, we'll throw it down to Ben, but real quick before we do that, if you guys are watching, thanks for the people that are tuning in. If you guys have suggestions, all you need to do is leave it in the comments, and we may talk about it. So keep that in mind. If you want to be involved in the show, you can do so by commenting. And yeah, all right. Well, we'll throw it over to you, Ben. What are you working on?
Well, I it's a bit that I used to do and I kind of stopped doing it, but it's about how I almost joined the military. I was 20. That's not the punch. I was 20. I was 20, and they call it because they do those things where they call anyone. I didn't know that, and they called me, and I didn't have much going on. It was 2:00 on a Tuesday afternoon, and I was home, so I was hanging out, and like they call, and they were like, do you want to come down, and we'll hang out, like everything's like a hang. Like they don't mention the part where you have to like train and shoot guns. They're like, come on down. We'll hang out. We'll see what happens. And I went down there and they had like these cards or whatever, and they were like, take these cards, and there was things on them like financial security, high pay, travel, stuff like that. It's stuff that you want out of a career. And but there's no wrong answers on the card, like there's there's not a card that says like I hate the military or like I'm a big fan of Iraq or anything. Like that's not a thing. And so I took them and I like and the guy was like, go ahead and arrange these. And so I arranged them and he was like, that's amazing. You're perfect for the Army. This is great. And I did not join.
What did you think then, Ben, at that point?
Well, it was happening?
When they said you're great.
I don't know. I was excited. Like I was like, this is gonna happen. I was in college at the time, but I was like, I'll leave that. I'll join the Army.
You have to say that, maybe.
Yeah, I like the concept of them, like, because especially when you said the line about, not realizing they would call anybody. Yeah. Like that. It's funny because then it's like they're, you didn't realize that here that you thought they were making you feel special, like you were going to be the supreme soldier, and then they they're like making it out like you singularly were the best soldier ever, and you had the right mindset for everything you wanted,
right? As if they saw me in high school play third chair trombone in my jazz band, and we're like, we got to get this kid, he's got something.
So wait, when did it change though from when you thought you did great and you're going to drop out of college to I'm not going to the military?
Oh, the part, because at the end, and later this guy goes, you're too heavy for the military.
Oh, no.
True. Which I didn't know there was apparently now I'm not good enough. He's going to me. But, which, by the way, they should have had this information in my bio. Like, I don't know why. But they didn't know. So he goes, you too. He goes, here's what you can do. You leave. And what's that?
Where was the card for that? I mean, he had all these cards, for all the card for that.
Well, that was my own card that I brought, and I was like,
you have the cards. You have your cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, your Ben was looking at cards, and the guy was like, they had vegetables on them.
Oh.
Yeah, so I left, and I didn't, because he was like, you can leave. He goes, you can go home, you can lose 30 pounds, and you can come back, and then you can join the Army. And I was like, or I can go home and stop at a McDonald's on my way and forget that this whole thing which is what I did.
Which is what I did is a great.
Yeah,
I think you have to add that. Yeah, which is what I did. When you said hang out, hey, you guys, you can come on, we can hang out.
Yeah.
I think you could say we can play pool. I think it's something specific there that he says that you're going to do that makes it sound extra like, oh, that's cool.
Well, I remembered when I was in high school, I think I was a senior or something, but like a guy from the Army brought like an SUV or like a van over, and he opened the back, and there's like a TV with video games. And I was like, this is amazing. And I always imagine that like they let you start to play the video game, and then they like throw you in the back and close the door. And they're like, we got another one.
Like it's a kidnapping.
They got like a button they push on the desk and a trap door opens.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a knack. The guy throws it.
That's so funny. I think you got to tell it that whole thing. I think you got to put all that in there.
Yeah, I like the idea of them like trying to trick you into believing. Like it's almost like they're tricking you to believe in yourself. Like,
yeah,
you know, like,
I need someone to do that still. That would be great.
Right? Yeah, we all could use that.
I'm wondering, and I'm sorry if I'm jumping on people, you know, but my internet, I think it's my
You're doing
internet.
Great.
you're
in and out. But I'm wondering, did that set you up for the way that you sold other things to people? Piper, come here. Like when you ask your parents for something, or when you ask somebody out on a date, do you pull out the cards or the van?
Yeah, I pull out the cards and I go, you know, I almost made it into the military. They didn't want me. Here's what? Yeah.
Suddenly.
Yeah, I go. Here's these. When I go on a date, I go, here's these cards. You arrange them to what's important to you, and they go, these are blank.
Or you come on a date. You go, you want to play some cards?
I got video games in my trunk.
That's creepy. I got video games in my van.
Oh man, that's so funny. Yeah, it's funny you're talking about the military and how you almost joined because you went to the meeting or whatever. Yeah. In high school, I took the ASVAB to get out of class, and then I ended up scoring really high, and so like every military recruiter was constantly calling our house, trying to set up meetings and stuff. It was so funny because it was the same thing because I was really heavy in high school, and they would come and be like, yeah, you could do anything you want in the military. First, you need to lose about 50 pounds. And I was like, well, see, that's the problem.
Yeah. Like, how about you lead with that? And we can all forget about it.
There is no second.
Yeah, right. It would have been funny if one of them would have just walked in and saw me and been like, never mind, this was a bad call.
Yeah, Ben, you obviously weren't heavy enough where they looked at you and were like, nope.
Yeah, they made me get on the scale.
Oh God.
They were like, this might be, well, they didn't make me, I did it, but
so you don't think that's strange at all? A van pulls up, video games in the back, and then you pull on a scale. That's not. I mean, you know, that's sounding very Jeffrey Dahmer.
I thought it was great. I don't know how to great time.
He thought he was being picked out for something special.
Yeah, I was like, all this effort this guy's putting in, this is amazing.
This is way more effort than my dad put in.
He wouldn't even leave his house. This is awesome.
Oh.
What if that's how they choose you for like a job or there could be other.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yep. We have to do like the same thing. It's not really an interview. They just tell you to arrange the cards and step on a scale. Oh, that's funny.
Ben walks into a casino. He's like, I got this. Everybody step aside.
I've been training for this my entire life.
Yeah.
I go, guys, I got this. Do you have a pull-up bar? That was another part where this is too long of a story already, but they had like a pull-up bar, and they were like, we want to see, you got to do a pull-up. I don't know why, but
I think you could even though it's a longer story, sounds like it would be a great like a great bit, like a whole chunk, because there's a lot of opportunity for like punching stuff up and different things to talk about, where you could develop this into like a really good closer, because there's a lot of elements here, but they're all super funny. The whole scenario.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I used to do it, and I stopped doing it for some reason, but I think there's something. So.
Oh, definitely. All right.
You didn't want to offend the military. or compliment them. Either way.
Now I don't care. I'll fight anybody.
Lead with anybody in the military in here tonight. Thanks for your service. I'll tell you my story. I served too.
He's like, I've got these cards. I need you to sort. We're gonna see if you're really up for the task.
I'll be the judge. Couldn't do a could not do a poll.
See if you're really in the military or not.
That's a new game show that Ben hosts. Are you in the military or not?
Our cards are gonna find out. Oh, that's too funny. All right. Yeah. You feel good about that? You got some stuff there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That's
excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll move over to Jenny. Again, if you're watching, if you have ideas or suggestions that you want to make, all you got to do is leave a comment. If you are commenting, I apologize if they're not coming through. So I haven't seen any, but that doesn't mean anything. This is our times. All right, Jenny, go ahead. What do you got going?
Me?
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, I can't. I'm having trouble hearing, but my dog apparently can hear everything. So I have this story that I tell, and it goes over, but I have no ending, and people laugh. I can tell that they're laughing because they're just like, okay, I'm supposed to laugh here, not laughing because it's funny. So I've got to fix that. So here's the story. I have, like, the beginning, I worked it, so I have some jokes and stuff like that in there. But I was booked at a strip club near here. And when they booked me, I was like, okay, I didn't, I'm in my 60s. How else am I going to get to work at strip club? That's the only way if I'm doing comedy. So after the show, it was in January and there was a blizzard, and I was driving, and it was in Devil's Lake. So it's in the middle of nowhere, and I live in the middle of nowhere. So I was in the middle of nowhere in a blizzard, and I had an accident. And I had to call 911. They came out to get me, and the sheriff came out, and he said it was a busy night. They had all these other cars, that he would be the one to take me into town, that we'd leave the car, yada, yada, yada. And so we're sitting in the car, and he has my driver's license, my ID. So he knows how old I am, and he knows where I live. And he said, what's a woman like you doing out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night, in the middle of a blizzard? And I thought, this is my only opportunity. This is close enough to the strip club. He knows it. I said, I was doing a show at Wally's Gentlemen's Club. And the look on his face, because he couldn't laugh. But I have nowhere to go with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I always try to, and this is so hard to do with my own material, but I always try to think when I'm thinking of other comics, like what was the funny part to you, like your viewpoint, that you could fool him into thinking this was the only time that you worked at a strip club?
That he was imagining that I had been a stripper there. And obviously I wasn't, but he didn't know that. I didn't say that I was a comic. I just said I did a show at Wally's Gentlemen's Club, and he's looking at this fat woman in her 60s wondering,
you have to say that next.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that'll help punch it up to that, because that's your viewpoint, I think, too. Like, he's looking at this lady in her I'm not going to say fat lady, but you can say that.
Yeah. And then, I guess, that he felt that maybe he thought I should give them their money back.
You have to say that too. Like, that's all.
Yep.
That's your bit, I think. I also think you could say it at the beginning when you say, because you're making fun of yourself already, and you're saying this is the only time you're at a strip club. You could say, I was performing at this strip club for comedy, doing comedy. I think that can be a potential.
Yep. Really emphasize that you're there for comedy.
When I set up the story,
Did you just hit your dog?
Oh no! Come here, Piper.
And the show's over.
Usually, I don't know. She's afraid of you guys because when I teach,
right.
it's right here, and she's quiet, and she just sits here with me. Come here, Piper. Come here.
It's like that checks out.
Maybe
so I think
she's excited about the strip club. I don't know.
But when I'm teaching, she sits right here, and my students talk to her.
Cute.
That's
cute.
funny.
I don't even think you have a dog. I think this is baloney.
Oh.
This is just a sound effect.
Right there.
She's got magic.
But I think
going on.
I do think. Oh, there you go. I think though that next part about what you think the officer is thinking at that point has some potential to really make it work.
I was gonna say, what did the guy actually say when you told him what you were doing?
Did he say anything, or did he just give you a funny look?
Oh no, just one of his. This is what made me think it was so funny. Piper, one of his eyebrows just crept up into his cap. He was just totally stoic, and just run and kept running.
But don't forget the line that you just said before that about he's thinking probably this, and I know that because his eyebrow, and then you can do that too.
Yep, I like that.
And then you just were like, that'll be $5. Or what did you say at the end?
Oh, that he probably thought that I should give them their money back.
Oh, oh. So then what happened?
Oh, nothing happened after that. But I set it up.
Did he let you go? I mean, did he just say go ahead then?
Well, no, he was helping her. She was.
Oh
yeah. So he was just taking her to town.
Yep, he took me to a hotel. He took me to a hotel, and I guess I could do something with that, but he just dropped me off at a hotel.
Yeah, maybe he had other ideas because he thought you worked at that strip club.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll take you to the hotel now.
Piper, come here.
You could be like, I worked there last night.
I get a special rate. I get rated by the hour. This is
if you want to keep with your theme. I'm going to hell for that joke. Thank you. The police are coming. The police are coming. I can feel.
That's right. That's what happens when
you make a bad joke.
When you make a bad joke, the comedy police are going to come in. Send you to comedy jail.
Is that true?
I don't know. Maybe.
That's like, yes, it is. David.
It absolutely is the truth. Don't.
All right, how do I turn my camera off?
Just kind of inconspicuously disappear.
I like where you're. Yeah, I like where you're going with that, Jenny. I think it's I think that's a lot of. I think it's neat too because that could be you've probably already thought this, but that could be a joke towards the top of your act or at the end of your act because you're talking about other places you've performed. I do some of my road material towards the end of my act about places I've performed because it's like I'm wrapping up, thanks so much. Here's some weird stories before I go, whatever. I think that's a nice way to think about it potentially.
Yeah.
Yep. And how I have the couple of times that I've used it, how I've introduced it, because I in my act I talk about, like, I close with being a professor, but I talk about, you know, how many different jobs I've had. I was a weather person on television news, and so I talk about that. And then
did you bring the dog there? That'll be 95 inside.
Yeah. But I talk about this because then I say, but I couldn't be a stripper, and then I say, you know, the reason I can't be a stripper is because I'm a feminist, and then I have some jokes about what kind of stripper I'd be if I was as a feminist.
Cool.
But eyes down here, mister. You didn't pay to objectify me. You know, so.
Yeah, you looked right at me when you said that. I don't know why.
Is it something you've heard before or what?
No, but just in my own head.
In the mirror.
Concerns, yeah.
It's like that scenario has definitely popped in my head a time or two.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The CIA's coming.
Right?
They're already there.
Yeah. Coming right out of those white walls.
Yeah. All of a sudden, we just see a taser off.
Oh, Jesus. It's like
that would be pretty hilarious. Yeah, I agree with Dave though on that. On the, you know, at the end, make sure you say those lines and say what he's thinking, especially if you do you know, you can say that, you know, I could tell what he was thinking. And then because, you know, his eye went up eye went up, and then you say, and I could tell what he was thinking and then, you know.
Yep.
No. All right. Well, we're back to you, David.
Oh, you're not going to do one?
No, I'm the moderator. I just been going around with this. I did a bunch of these one-on-one, so I like burned through a bunch of material. That's why I decided to do this format with other people.
Yeah. All right. This is one a new idea I've kind of been working on in a vacuum in my house. Growing up, my parents would fight a lot. I used to think it was dumb, but turns out the car air conditioner is maybe the most important thing that you can argue about as a couple. Like, you know, like we'd be getting close to home, and then like on the block within 20 seconds of being home, and my dad would be like, start turning the air off when it was like 100 degrees outside. And we'd all be like, oh my God, what are you doing? We're almost home. Why do you need to do that? And he'd be like, I'm preparing. We're like, to die? Because it is hot. We're going to kill you. And we're hot. And so we're going to die of heat exhaustion. And we didn't know, I didn't know right away that until later that the reason he was doing this is because he didn't want hot air blowing on him when he turned the car back on.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, but we don't want hot air blowing on us now. You know, we are dying in here. Like, can you sit? it's like, can you help? And because my dad was very fanatical about different things, like OCD, kind of like he had to turn off the air and adjust the mirror. And my mom, and I know that because my mom would be like, what are you doing? And she'd like mock him. And then I would be like, yeah, Dad, what are you doing? And I would mock him because it was ridiculous to us that he would just, because it seemed like he was being selfish, you know. Now I know that he was, and because like now if I would do, you know, if I have someone in the car I'm like, God, I really want the air on. That's probably because my whole childhood it felt hot. It just felt hot, so I'm like, but I don't usually turn it. I'll ask the passenger. I'm like extra careful because I don't want to get hit. You know what I mean? I'm like, is it okay if I turn the air on? Is it? Or do you? Or we'll turn it off if you want. Then you need a burger. Like, what do you need? I want to be extra careful. So anyway, that's kind of the gist of the bit. But that second part, I wasn't going to go into about what it's like for me now yet, because I wanted to finish up more of the first part. But that's kind of where I was kind of improvising too. But anyway, that's kind of the
when you do the first part of that bit. Do you do the act outs too? Like like everything you said, because that was really funny when you were like, "Oh, you're gonna kill us, Dad." You're like right in the middle of saying something. You're just like your head dropped. That was so funny.
Thanks, thank you. Yeah, I do. It's a new thing. I've been doing more of the acting out and trying to like set the scene. Because the other thing too about him in the car was like, it felt like he was landing a plane. He'd be like, I'm landing the vehicle. It's like, what? And then he'd like turn off the air and turn this off and turn this. I'm like, can we? He's like, please put your tray tables up. We don't even have tray tables back here. Like, can we get another nozzle maybe with some air? So I don't know if there's like a plane nozzle. You know how they have the nozzle in the plane? I don't know if there's a joke there because it was like he was landing the plane. But
what if you act that out more? Like, what if you start going through the process? He's talking to Houston. He's got a checklist. Like what?
Yep.
Like you're talking to the passengers, which is you.
Right. Okay, act that out. Go a little more into that bit, and then I can respond with like, God, I hope he lands soon. Or something like.
Yeah, pass out again, whatever.
Yeah, something. It needs to be something even punchier. But yeah, that's great. I'll try to go into the act out of him.
Yeah.
More, and then Jenny, you got kind of tight and felt bad when maybe because I said OCD because it was more like he had, but it wasn't really OCD as much as it was. Maybe it was, but I think it was more just fanatical. Like I don't even know what the word is. Fanatical for him to be turning things off. But why did you get upset? I'm curious. Okay, silent treatment. That's fair. This is why I haven't been in a relationship. I don't know do I have to turn the air on or off? What's happening?
I'm like hearing like every other word, but what? I'm hearing like every other word, and I think I think my internet is tired. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that before. Thank you.
Internet connection. And what I'm wondering is, I'm sorry. I am really gonna. That is gonna do it. Like. Back then, I mean, I don't know how old you are, but I know when I was a kid, kids didn't die in cars. But like maybe for you, like anytime you saw that in the news, it just, created panic in you. You started a scrapbook to show your dad this could happen to us. You're lucky this isn't us.
That is super.
Started a scrapbook.
That is crazy. Like news articles of kids that have died. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god, Dad! This is actually happened. You're gonna need to keep the air on for another 20 seconds. Like, I think, that's a funny idea.
What if when you pull out the scrapbook, your dad has a scrapbook? And he's like, but this is a scrapbook of dads being warm in cars.
It just shows a mom yelling at a dad.
or it's just a picture of your dad.
Yeah. Why don't you take your dad back to the store, the car store? just like your mom took you back to the gum store.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great callback.
Yeah, if I can get the first joke to work.
How did you know? How did you know that your dad was turning it off because he didn't want to be hot when he turned it back on?
That's a great question. I'm sure at some point he was. I think this is where you need to do an act out of him again, maybe, where he's like, "I don't want to be hot when it's back on," you know, like
while your mom was mocking him.
While my mom was bothering him, probably the 100th time, my dad finally was like, "Here's the reason." He was probably like, it's like, I think maybe he didn't even know as part of his procedure, maybe, you know, so he would just be like, you know, I got to do this, you know, I'm landing the vehicle, I got to do this, just, you know, at first, like, that's what you do. But then eventually, after a few years of marriage, you're like, it's fine. You know, I don't know.
That's good, because that could tie into your parents arguing.
Yeah. Yes, and I think that's great. Yeah, there's a lot of different angles about this that I think, but it will be a really nice, rich bit if I can get them all to work, I think. And then I want to talk about what I do in the car now. I'm like, you need a, you know, foot rub or no? Okay. Just making sure, because they're like, no, I'm fine. And I'm like, all right, well, my parents fought when we were, you know, or something like that. I don't know. But that's
like, excuse me. Yeah, I was just gonna say you're basically trying to avoid fighting.
Right. That's the story of my life. It rarely works.
Yeah, usually it causes fighting.
Ben, this is not personal time.
Sorry, I thought we were on the
just
phone.
between us later. Okay.
Jeez, you guys, I tell you. Well,
yeah, we're in the minivan normally, and he's yelling at
you. Oh, so this is your parents. You are your parents.
Yeah, Ben and I aren't even together, but it feels like we are. Mostly to him.
Yeah, I empathize with your dad, so I get it.
No, here's the thing. I empathize with my dad now, but I also empathize with my mom, and so that's why I'm screwed up.
So confused. Oh, that's funny. All right, we'll throw it down.
Those are great suggestions. Thank you, guys.
All right, we're gonna throw it down to you, Ben. We're gonna let you do your next one.
Yep, I got this is one that I've never done before, but I was thinking about it the other day. I was probably, speaking of first memories, I was probably like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 or something, and my parents got us rabbits, like bunny rabbits, and we didn't live on a farm, like we're not rabbits. We lived in town. We're not rabbit people. I don't know where they came from. We don't come from a long line of rabbit people.
The rabbiteers.
Yeah, exactly.
Was anybody in your family in 4-H?
No, but I have uncles that are farmers, which I think is where the rabbits came from. Like, I think
I was going to say, because that's something you could say at that point too. When you say we're not rabbit people, no one was in 4-H.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I think my uncle just like caught him and was like, let's just give him to this weird 7-year-old. And they didn't stay long because I was scared of the rabbits. They're a scary creature. I don't know. Just in general, I don't trust animals. I don't really like them. Like, I don't know what. I don't know. Jenny's out. She didn't care for that.
I'm in. I'm in.
Okay.
Throwing toys.
I got you.
She doesn't want her dog to scare you.
Yeah.
So
I love that you don't trust animals. That's great.
Yeah, because and this is what I was thinking about the other day, because because a lot of people are like, like he's cool but like you don't know what animals are thinking. Like we can't pretend to know like what their moods are like we do. And and rabbits, if you like now if I saw a rabbit, I'd be like, all right, it's a rabbit, it's cool. But as a 7-year-old, to not have a real good knowledge of rabbits, they are scary. They got very powerful back legs, and so we had them for like.
What did you think would happen specifically?
Oh, I figured they'd run away or like they'd kick me. Like I remember one time, like
you have to kick me like a horse.
You have to say that. Yeah. You have to say that.
Like I remember one time, I think it was my dad had a rabbit. He was like holding the rabbit, and he was like, "Here, you can hold it." And I was like, "I'm not gonna do any of that forever." And we got rid of him
because of you.
Yeah, because I didn't touch him the whole time. I don't know if they thought like he'll warm up to him. But we had him for like 3 days, and I barely looked at him. I didn't make eye contact.
Every time you saw a magician, you're like, whoa.
And now we figured out why he's so against you, David.
Yeah. He felt that. Well, that's normal to feel that
way. Yeah. If you ever call me and you're like, I'm working on this trick, it involves a rabbit, I'm gonna do it.
You know what's funny? I feel the same way, and I am a magician. I'm like, no rabbits, please. They might crap on me. I don't need it.
Yeah. Thank you.
You don't know. I'm with you. I don't know. They smell. They're weird.
It's funny too because with rabbits, like certain animals can make like facial expressions, like dogs. Dogs will make like certain facial expressions, and sometimes it looks like they're smiling or whatever. Like there's a little bit like you can kind of see their emotion, but like with rabbits, there's nothing. It's just like a blank stare, like it's just staring into your soul.
Yeah, it could bite part of your leg off, and you wouldn't even know it until it was happened.
Right, they have pulled that eyes. They cannot be trusted.
You could tie in like those cartoon. They weren't like Bugs Bunny. They weren't like that to you. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, they weren't like he seemed friendly, nice, fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, how do you play with a rabbit? You throw something, they don't go after it and bring it back.
Yeah. No, that's right. You just stare. And how I play with a rabbit is I don't. I just ignore them and hope they go away, which they do. If you ignore
it's like, how old were you when you saw Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
How old was I?
Yeah.
Probably 20s.
Oh, okay. So you were way past then, because that would make you not like rabbits.
Yeah.
Oh, is there some weird stuff with rabbits?
Seen that.
I don't remember.
Oh, it's the rabbit, like the I forget what it's called, but it was like the monster rabbit. Like it was like a main part in the movie. Like I forget what they called it, but yeah.
I didn't even need to see that to not like them. I didn't trust them already.
So Ben, if you see a rabbit outside your house now, what happens?
I'm fine with them because like they're at it. Oh, there you go. That one's got red eyes. That's creepy.
That is creepy.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. That's from Monty Python though.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with any animal as long as it's like from a distance. Like if it's not up to me.
I understand.
Yeah, as long as it's not, then it's okay.
That's good stuff, dude. I was going to say one other thought about when you're scared. We're not rabbit people. I think there's a line right after that where like, we're not rabbit. You said, I don't like rabbits, something about rabbits. We're not rabbit people. I think there's one more line like we're I'm not a rabbitologist or I don't know, something, rabbit, something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was helpful.
And yet you know how strong their back legs are, which I find unusual.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Honestly, I didn't know, but I wasn't going to take a chance. No matter.
Just assume.
I didn't need to get like kicked by one and be like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought. I was already like.
What, Ben? You know they have these. Not that I creepily watch baby videos on the internet, but if I did, and they have these cute babies, and they have like with rabbits are jumping on them, and like if that were you,
it would be way less cute.
Another thing you could do when you're talking about them having, strong kicks and like not walking behind it, instead of actually talking about walking behind the rabbit, you're like, I'm not going to test it. You can say, I don't have to walk behind a horse or get kicked by a horse to know it's got strong legs.
Yeah.
Comparing it to the rabbit.
Yeah. I put rabbits and horses in the same category, which is animal, and I avoid them.
Yeah, exactly.
Not human.
Yeah.
Did your family have any other animals growing up?
No.
That was after the rabbits. They're like, that's.
Well, that's why I don't know where I don't know where they came from. But the other thing I was going to say was I'm glad that they didn't stick, because if they did, then I'm the guy with rabbits. Which I did not need.
When you mean growing up?
Yeah, like in high school.
But what were you instead then? What?
I was just a regular nerd.
Yeah.
You were just a regular nerd, but otherwise you would have been the nerd with rabbits.
Yeah. I would have been.
I feel like that's how you have to end it.
Yeah.
That bit ends with you saying that. You're like, I don't know where they went or where they came from. I'm just glad they didn't stick, because then I'm not the kid with the weird kid with the rabbits.
Yeah, that's what it would be. That was the biggest blessing of my life.
And you had them for 3 days.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that was enough. I was like, I'm good.
Ain't having nothing to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a bit where you tie the arm.
This could make a very scary children's story.
Listen, you could put Ben in any story for children and it would be scary.
Yeah. It's true.
I think that might go for any of us here. No offense.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not offended. I definitely know it applies to me.
What you might be able to tie the army bit into like shooting rabbits, or I don't know. That's maybe or something together.
Yeah, I can call it back. Yeah, that'd be.
I don't know what it would. I mean,
you could almost, like he said, you could do something like, when you're talking about the army stuff. If you do that later in the set, you could tie it in. Maybe if we got to shoot rabbits, I would have been more on board or something.
or
maybe if that would have been a card.
Or I can't even get near rabbits. There's no way I'm going to get near the enemy.
Yeah.
Especially if they're rabbits.
I'm afraid of rabbits.
A weird rabbit guy in the army.
Yeah.
Like, oh, get Ben in here. Call Ben up. He's our rabbit dude.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that idea too. You could be like, and if we were rabbit people, how you could turn into the army's expert rabbit guy.
Yeah.
Further adds to being the weird rabbit guy.
Yeah, Ben's the Elmer Fudd of the U.S. Army. Those rabbits.
That was one of the cards.
Yeah. I feel like if I went to the interview and they were like, so tell us about yourself. And I'm like, well, I'm big into rabbits. They'd be like, okay, we're good. You can go back home.
Then they wouldn't have said anything about your weight.
Yeah.
I like rabbits. I like rainbows. I like puppies. They're like, well, thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
Have a nice day.
yeah, we know you can't do a pull-up. It's fine.
Funny.
Oh, that's funny too. Like that's a funny concept of like how people can like pass judgment on things like that, like physical skills based on like what you're into, you know, where
Yeah.
you can, you know, you see these things and like, oh yeah, we definitely know you can't do a pull-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, we're gonna jump down and let Jenny do one more before we get out of here.
Okay. So is it my turn?
Yes.
I'm hearing
Yep.
like every other word.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it's your turn.
Okay, and I'm sorry that I'm hearing only every other word. Maybe that goes along. I was talking to a friend today, and so I this is something new. This isn't something I've worked on, but I was trying to convince her that I'm not a hypochondriac, and I actually said I'm not a hypochondriac. I have a preconceived condition. And then I realized what I had said, and I thought, well, that's something I could work on. A preconceived condition sounds so good. It sounds like I'm smart. I'm smart, not that I pretend I'm sick or think I'm sick.
I like the way you just put it. It sounds smart, not that I pretend that I'm sick. I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Or they're not that you not that you're pretend that I'm sick, right?
Yeah.
Preconceived. So why did you have to convince your friend that you were not a hypochondriac?
That I'm not. I'm sorry.
Why did you have to convince your friend?
Oh, I don't know. I just said something, and then I thought, well, I don't want her to think that I think I'm sick, And then I thought, well, why don't I want her to think?
That's
great.
You gotta say that. I don't want her to think that I think that I'm sick is great.
She didn't think that, but I didn't want her to think.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I think you have to say she didn't think that, but I didn't want her to think that I was a hypochondriac.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was afraid of what you would think, and so I just said, "No, I have a preconceived condition. I know what's going on here."
So has she accused you of that before?
Oh no! We were just catching up with one another.
Talking, and then you got anxious and paranoid that she might have thought that. Yeah.
There's quite a bit of distance, and because of COVID, you don't want anyone to think that you're sick.
Yep.
Because then especially at my age, I'm in my 60s and I'm overweight. I'm like, COVID is looking at me, So I was like, well, I don't want her to think that I'm sick, but at the same time, I don't want her to think that I'm a hypochondriac. I just, have a preconceived condition.
I understand that. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how that sounds too, like that, because it's really funny the fact that she never even said anything, and I don't know how what even brought it up that you thought that she would think that. Is like, did you sneeze or something? Because that's what I think about too, especially when you talk about COVID. Like, I think about this all the time. Like, my allergies have been acting up a lot lately. So like anytime I'm in public and my allergies start acting up and I might sneeze or my throat, I want to cough or something, I'm like, oh God, everybody probably thinks I have COVID. Like, that's the first thing I think. So you could lead into that where you talking about being with your friend and then you accidentally sneezed. And then you're like,
maybe
I don't want to,
yeah.
or something. Yeah.
What actually led to I think that was a good point by Dan.
I really don't remember what it was. We were just talking about a bazillion things. I mean, I really don't know. And then I said that, and then I thought, and she started to laugh. And so then I thought, oh, I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
I usually don't do that. And that's something I usually don't do. But I just thought, because I knew that we were going to be doing this tonight, I thought,
Right.
oh, yeah. Well, there's something new, something tried, something blue, something bad.
Do you know anybody, or is anybody in your family have like hypochondria?
I was going to ask,
yeah.
Are you?
I don't think so.
Thanks a lot, Ben.
I know that my symptoms are real, damn it.
That's funny.
If it makes you feel any better.
At my age, I have the right to all of my symptoms.
I've earned them.
Yeah, you could say that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
They might be all in my head, but I have that right.
I've earned them, every last one.
In fact, if you don't step back, I'm going to shoot you with this gun I just cleaned off.
That's funny. I get called that. My fiance calls me a hypochondriac all the time because I'm super paranoid about things, and like if I stub my toe, I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying. I'm at that point where stub my toe and I'm probably having a heart attack.
Yes. Well, it must be tough for you guys. I get that I feel the same way. Like I'm always I'm a walking hypo-paranoid person. I don't know what's happening.
Pre-hypochondriac paranoid.
I'm pre-hypo.
I'm almost there.
And I was conceived once, so that was separate.
All right. That's all right. Well, I think we'll wrap up. I will do one. I got you guys made me think of something I was working on, and I think I could use a good think tank before we get out of here. So I have a bit where I'm talking about being a pet parent. Okay, where I'm talking about my animals, and I've been kind of trying to come at it at an angle where I'm a bad pet parent, but not because I mistreat them, but because I'm one of them people that spoils my pets. And so I basically turned them into entitled brats. But I also talk about how, people say that, having pets isn't like having children. And I say, well, I argue that it is, because I can't walk through my house without stepping on toys. They fight like siblings. And when I get mad at one, I yell the other's name. And like most people with multiple children, I love one more than the rest. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of that's the gist of the bit.
What if you said at the end of you love one more than the rest? Do you say, maybe if you said the pet's name at that point, like you even made it up? Is that right, Pookums? You know what I mean, or whatever.
Oh yeah, yep.
I like, and then you shut up, Daryl. Or whatever. Don't look at me like that, Daryl.
I like that.
So the premise is that you spoil these pets because you're like
because they're like my children. They're like my children.
Like your children. Yeah. Why don't you maybe there's a bit, and I wanted to do a bit like this too, which I'm sure but why don't you have children instead?
I do a bit about that. I do because I actually talk about how I'm at that age where I don't have kids, but everybody thinks I should, and because I kind of sometimes I actually try to do these together, but this part of it hasn't worked. But I say, my friends have gotten my head and they've convinced me that maybe I should have had kids. They're like, oh, you would have been a good parent. And then I think, well, how well do you actually know me that I'd be a good parent? And then I'm like, I wash my vitamins down with alcohol, and then I talk about how I helped raise my kid brother, and then he's been in and out of jail, and I'm like, I'm not very good at parenting, so you can't really.
But you're good at pet parenting, though.
And then I said, but I'm actually kind of not. I'm a bad pet parent.
Oh,
because
that's
and then
funny.
people, and then it usually gets a little bit of a reaction because people are like, oh man, he's got pets after hearing all these shitty things I do. And I'm like, But not in a bad way. You know, I don't neglect them. I spoil them. That's why I'm a bad pet parent.
What pets do you have?
So I have 2 dogs and a cat, and sometimes I talk about them. This is a part that sometimes I forget, but I try to mention them where I'm like, yeah, I have 2 dogs, 2 Chorkies named Gizmo and Tello, and a cat that looks like Garfield named Hugo. And Hugo's bigger than both of the 2 dogs combined. So I have 2 Chorkies and a Porky. And it's just a little line there.
So I think you made it more clear towards when I asked you about like when you were like, I'm a bad pet parent, not because of this, but because I spoil them.
Yep. Okay.
That seemed to make it more clear to me that way. But I think maybe you did say that. I might have missed it.
Oh. And then I was doing a thing too where I talked about, examples of how I would spoil them. Because I would talk about how I, bought them bow ties for Christmas or something like that. And like entitled brats, they just chewed them up.
At the beginning, when you were talking about you were comparing pets to children, how they're like, how are they not alike? Have you ever thought about exploring
going the other way?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously they have 4 legs, fur.
That'd be a weird kid. Yeah.
Right. Or maybe I should, or I could, after I do all that, I could say, I could actually go in and to that bit, transition from, not being a good parent as far as, my friends thinking I would be a good parent to be like, so they finally convinced me and now I'm a parent, my kid he's really furry and has 4 legs or something to transition into that.
Yeah. It's also funny. It's funny that you bring that up because because people hear, I think, and people say all the time, like, oh, you'd be a good parent or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you've already decided that you wouldn't be a good parent. Like, has anyone ever been swayed? Like, has anyone had that conversation with their kids or with their friends and be like, yeah, we are going to have kids now. Like, you would be a bad parent.
Yeah.
Why are these people even talking? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Why are these people even talking about that? Isn't this your decision? Why are people even coming up to you? You don't go up to them and say, I want to talk to you about your biopsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you went up to them, and were like, here's some changes I'd like you to make.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah. Have you thought about retirement?
All right, I like that.
And then what responsibility do they have if you become a parent and you're a horrible parent?
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. Like, what if I do? What if I do become a parent? Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
And why?
Like if I decide to, I was just gonna say, if I decide to have kids and I actually am a bad parent, do I get to blame them?
Yeah.
When CPS comes, can I be like, it's not my fault. Bob convinced me I should have kids.
Yeah. Or like if you go back to them and you're like, hey, remember how you said I'd be a good parent? I'm not. Here they are. You can have them. They're yours.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Why, when you say the part about like spoiling them, why is it bad that you spoil them? I think I know, but I'm curious what your angle is.
My angle is that because they've turned into entitled little brats.
Oh, I think you said that. Yeah. And I think I like that if you go with those, I think you said you already wrote some examples. Mm-hmm. And so I'd like to hear the examples in the bit,
Okay. Yeah. And that's the other thing. I got to think of more examples on how they're entitled.
And maybe also why. Well, you love them because that's why you. But yeah, did you also? I think there's always an interesting angle of. Did you have pets growing up?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you take off to your parents in that way, or like, did they have what pets were they? You know, did they have?
I could even do like an angle about my parents liking pets more than me or something.
Yes. Oh, now the psychology comes.
Right?
Now we understand Dan Bublitz.
We're figured out. Well, I can just quit. I don't need to do comedy anymore. Mistress installed. Deuces. All right. This is some good stuff to work out. Excellent. Okay. Got my last note. Sweet. Thank you guys. This was great. I feel like I got some good stuff here. Do you guys feel like you got some good stuff?
Yeah, it was great.
Good.
Thank you.
Do you guys have, if you want to promote anything, we'll just go around again. David, if you got anything.
Yeah, I'm unemployed because of the COVID. And so come catch me in a couple of years when we're out to do live shows again. And no, you can check out my website at davidharrislive.com, and that has everything on there on my YouTube page at youtube.com/davidharrislive.
Excellent. Ben?
Yeah, I am still employed.
Dang it.
I'm not very happy about it. That was a joke. Yeah, I'm on same thing, benmarcottecomedy.com as my website, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Ben Marcotte Comedy.
Excellent. Jenny?
I will be at Boss's in South Dakota on October 24th, but I don't have anything else booked.
Woo.
Yeah, you sounded confused if you were not sure if you were there, going to be there or not.
The way you said it, it was almost
You're like, I think I'm at Boss's, but I'm probably, I don't know.
It didn't sound very confident.
That's probably fair at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's the first. Yeah. No, I'm at Boss's on October.
Yes.
There we go. Much better. All right. Excellent. And if you're watching this, make sure you check out my podcast, The Art of Bombing. You can go to the website, artofbombingpod.com. That's presented by Renewed is presented by the Art of Bombing podcast. So check out the podcast. And then you can follow me on Instagram at Bublitz Comedy. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thank you, Dan.
This was fun. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.